The night is here once again, my friend, and you have found your way back to this quiet space. Perhaps the day was long, full of small tasks, larger worries, or moments that slipped by unnoticed. Perhaps your mind still hums faintly, like a distant wind, replaying conversations, weaving new plans, or searching for answers that have yet to arrive. But here, now, none of that is required. You need not fix, achieve, or understand anything tonight. Not even sleep needs to be chased. It will come as the moon crosses the sky without striving, as the tides rise and fall without effort. For now, simply lie where you are. Let the body rest into the surface beneath it. Notice the pull of gravity, the gentle weight of limbs. Feel the breath, a soft wave arriving, retreating. No need to deepen it. No need to control. Here, in this small temple of your own being, we will wander together through stories, not to accumulate wisdom like coins in a pouch, but to soften the edges of thought, to open the heart, to remind some part of you perhaps long forgotten of truths that live beneath words. These stories are old, older than you, older than me, passed from teacher to student, across continents and centuries, shaped by hands and hearts you will never meet, yet meant, perhaps, for this very night, and for you. And as they unfold, do not worry if the mind drifts, if the images blur, if sleep takes you partway through. This is not a lecture to memorize, but a lantern to place beside your path. Its light will linger, quietly, whether you notice or not. So, let us begin somewhere unexpected. Not in a monastery this time, but in the streets of an ancient city, beneath banners and silk curtains, where power and appearances seek to control what is seen and what is hidden. It was the 8th century in Kyoto. The emperor's procession moved through the city's grand avenues. Imagine it now: the rhythmic beat of drums, the gleaming armor of guards on horseback, the gilded palanquin gliding as if untouched by earth. Within that palanquin sat Emperor Daisho, young by years, aged by responsibility. His gaze, practiced in neutrality, revealed little to those who served him. Around him, the city had been carefully prepared, streets swept clean, facades freshly painted, the less fortunate discreetly removed from view. An imperial gaze was not to fall upon disorder, but as life often does, the wind played its small rebellion. A sudden gust lifted the silk curtain of the emperor's palanquin, exposing a narrow side street, unprepared, uncurated. And there, beneath the shadow of a crumbling wall, lay the body of a man, a beggar, alone, unclaimed. Daisho's eyes fixed on the sight. A subtle gesture of his hand stopped the entire procession. The music faltered. The crowd hushed. Courtiers exchanged uneasy glances. This was not in the plan. I wish to see, Daisho said softly to his chief attendant. There was hesitation, but no refusal could meet an emperor's word. The palanquin veered from its route. The gilded bearers tread cautiously upon uneven stones. Guards stiffened. Courtiers held their breath, and the emperor stepped down, feet touching ground, not meant for royal souls. He approached the body, thin, tattered robes, limbs drawn by death. One who had once walked these streets unseen by most, now utterly still. For a long moment, Daisho simply stood. No proclamation, no performance. Then he spoke, voice even and clear. This man, too, was my subject. He died alone, uncared for. He remains unburied. How can I claim to rule when such things happen within the shadow of my own palace? The chief minister began the usual excuses. Too many poor, resources stretched. The emperor could not be expected, but Daisho raised his hand once more. Enough. See that this man is buried with dignity, and see to it that we understand how many others like him exist within our city. I'm in. Thus began a quiet shift in the emperor, one not born of doctrine or philosophy, but of a single moment of clear seeing. In the days that followed, Daisho sent envoys into the city's poorest quarters, established almshouses, and began walking the streets in disguise, seeking not to be seen, but to see. And in time, he became known not for conquests or decrees, but as Daisho, the compassionate, the ruler who truly saw his people. Now, my friend, as you rest, consider, we are not emperors, yet each of us rides our own kind of palanquin through life shaped of habit, preference, avoidance. We craft careful routes that let us see only what comforts us. We scroll past news that disturbs, avert eyes from suffering, filter conversations. Parts of us labor, like Daisho's ministers, to maintain a pleasant view of the world and of ourselves. Yet life, like the wind, will sometimes lift the curtain, show us what lies beyond our chosen path. And in those moments, if we dare to pause the procession of thought and belief, we too may glimpse truths we have long hidden from view. Perhaps there is suffering within yourself you have not wished to meet, perhaps in another, perhaps in the world around you. The practice is not to force yourself to see everything all at once. No heart can hold that weight. But when the curtain parts even for a moment, can you, like Daisho, pause? Can you let the gaze rest there without turning away too quickly? For it is often in such moments unplanned, inconvenient, uninvited that the deepest seeds of compassion are planted, not as an effortful virtue to attain, but as a natural response of the heart when seen clearly. You do not need to strive for this. You do not need to fix anything now. Simply rest. Let your breath rise and fall. Let the body grow heavier, more at ease. And if the wind lifts a curtain within you tonight, greet what it reveals with the gentleness of one who knows. This too is part of my realm. And now, as the breath continues its soft rhythm, and your body lies a little deeper into the mattress beneath you, let us leave the grand streets of Kyoto. Imagine instead the hush of a snow-filled courtyard, far from the city's noise. The sky above is pewter, low, and full. Flakes drift soundlessly, clothing the world in gentle white. You stand in a Zen monastery high in the mountains of ancient China. The air is crisp, sharp against your skin, yet not unpleasant. There is a quiet here that is deeper than silence, as if the stones themselves have been listening for centuries. Across the courtyard, incense smoke rises in slow, steady curls. From within the meditation hall comes the soft, rhythmic sound of a wooden fish drum. Talk, 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 marking time not for the mind to grasp, but for the heart to settle into. Into this scene walks a solitary figure, Kyogen, a monk of 30-some years. He has spent 15 long years in study, in sitting, in endless contemplation. He has read the sutras, memorized teachings, questioned, debated. Yet, the question burned still, a question that will not let him rest. What was my original face before my parents were born? Not a riddle to amuse the intellect, but a koan, a key to unlock that which lies beyond concepts. Yet the lock, it seems, will not turn. That morning, Kyogen seeks his teacher, Master Isan. Snow gathers on Kyogen's shoulders as he approaches. His movements are deliberate, his eyes intense, like a climber who has reached a cliff's edge with no more footholds. Master, he bows deeply. I have practiced without cease, yet still, this question torments me. I can go no further. Please, show me the way. Of Master Isan regards him quietly, a gaze that is neither dismissive nor indulgent, but deeply present. His reply is simple. If I explained it to you, it would become my understanding, not yours. Kyogen's frustration brims. Then what more can I do? I have reached the top of 100-foot pole. How can I take one more step? And Master Isan smiles softly. Let go. No further instruction. No elaborate teaching. Only those two words. And then the teacher turns and walks away, leaving the monk alone with the falling snow and the sound of the wooden drum. Let go, but of what? In the weeks that follow, Kyogen's demeanor changes. The restless hunger gives way to a quieter intensity. He does his duties chopping wood, carrying water, but with a quality of deep absorption. He eats little, speaks less. Then, one day, while sweeping a bamboo grove behind the temple, something simple happens. His broom strikes a small stone, which flies through the cold air and hits a hollow bamboo stalk. Tonk. One clear, perfect sound. Nothing more. And in that instant, everything changes. Kyogen stops. His breath catches. It is as if something within him, long wound tight, finally releases. The sound of the stone is no different than any heard before. Yet now, without striving, without seeking, it opens a door. He laughs, not out of amusement or relief, but from a wellspring of pure joy. The broom drops from his hands. Tears rise. Later, he will say, one note of bamboo, and all my questions vanished. All my knowledge became as a single hair in the vast sky. There is no pole, no step to take, no attainment to grasp, only what is perfectly so. Now, as you lie here, soft beneath your blanket, you too may feel the presence of your own questions. They need not be great koans. Perhaps they are small, daily riddles. Am I enough? What comes next? When will I find peace? And perhaps, like Kyogen, you have tried many ways to answer them, thought your way around them, read, reasoned, sought. Yet sometimes, the answer does not come through effort. Sometimes it arrives in a single sound, the fall of rain, the breath of wind, the sigh of your own body settling deeper into sleep. And sometimes it is not an answer at all, but a letting go of the question itself. You do not need to push for this tonight. No need to let go with effort. That too is striving. Simply rest. Let the breath rise and fall. If a stone should strike bamboo within you, so be it. If not, so be it. As Master Isan said, it is not my understanding, or another's, that you seek. The deepest wisdom stirs not from words, but from within your own being. And perhaps, like Kyogen, in an unexpected moment, a note will sound, and the heart will remember there is no pole, no climber, no step to take, only this breath, this presence, complete. The night deepens now. Breath grows slower, the body heavier, more still. In this space between waking and sleep, where thoughts lose their sharp edges, let us follow another story, a simple tale, yet shimmering with quiet wisdom. We leave behind the snowy monastery. Now, picture the city of Kyoto once again, but not the grand avenues of emperors. Tonight, we step into the courtyard of a wealthy merchant's home. In an age when silk and gold flowed through the hands of men like river currents, inside, the merchant moves nervously. His house gleams with opulence, lacquered floors polished to a mirror's sheen, rare delicacies prepared in the kitchen, the finest sake awaiting honored guests. But none of these bring ease to the merchant's heart tonight, for he has invited Master Ikkyu, a Zen monk, known not for courtly manners, but for a wild wisdom that cuts through pretense like a blade through silk. And now, the moment arrives. Through the grand entrance walks Ikkyu, hair unkempt, robes simple and worn, wooden begging bowl in hand. His eyes, clear as a mountain stream, seem to look not at people, but through them to something deeper. The merchant hurries forward, bowing too deeply. Master Ikkyu, what an honor to receive you. Ikkyu simply nods and steps inside. The guests fall silent. Conversations falter. There is a shift in the room's air, from calculated elegance to uncertain curiosity. The evening proceeds. Course after lavish course is served. Sake flows freely, yet through it all, Ikkyu eats sparingly, speaks little. His silence unsettles the merchant, far more than any criticism might have. At last, as the gathering nears its peak, Ikkyu rises quietly. Honored host, he says, may I trouble you for a simple cup of water from your well? A ripple of surprise moves through the room. Water? When the finest sake in Kyoto fills the cups, the merchant stammers. Of course, Master, my servant will bring it. But Ikkyu shakes his head gently. I would prefer to draw it myself. If you would show me the way. Curiosity now stirs the guests. They follow as the monk and merchant move into the garden under the moonlit sky. Cool night air brushes their faces. Above, the moon hangs luminous and full. At the edge of the garden stands a simple stone well. Its rough edges cool beneath the fingers. The merchant, flushed with unease, Hestures. Ikkyu steps forward, peering into the well's dark depths. They see it, the moon, perfectly reflected in the still water below. Ikkyu draws the bucket slowly. The pulley creaks. The reflection trembles, reforms. He pauses. Look, he says softly. What do you see? The moon. One guest replies, yes. Ikkyu smiles. The moon travels the heavens freely. Yet here, it rests within this humble well undiminished. And he draws the bucket up fully, drinks deeply. Then, turning to the gathered guests, he speaks, asterisk. This water gives itself freely. It quenches the thirst of any who draw from it, rich or poor, noble or common. It asks nothing. It does not care who drinks. True generosity is like this, without calculation, without expectation of return. And the merchant flushes deeply. His mind races, seeing the truth laid bare. His gifts tonight, though lavish, were offered with hidden strings to impress, to elevate his status. In that moment, he laughs not, the shallow laughter of polite society, but a release of something long held tight. "You are right, Master," he says. "I have been giving like a merchant, always seeking return. I would rather give like this, well, and the evening changes. The masks fall, conversations deepen. For a time, they are simply human beings, not merchants, officials, or nobles gathered beneath the same moon. Later, as the guests depart, the merchant bows low to EQ. You arrived with nothing, yet gave me the greatest gift, ember-free. EQ smiles gently. I gave you nothing you did not already possess. I merely pointed to the well in your own garden, ember-free. Now, my friend, as you rest, what wells exist within your life? Perhaps they are simple things, a smile given freely, a moment of listening without agenda, a kindness extended without thought of return. Often, we seek satisfaction in grand offerings, achievements, acquisitions. But the greatest gifts, like the moon in the well, require no striving. They are reflections of something already present, awaiting only recognition. And generosity, true generosity, is not an effortful virtue. It flows naturally when we remember that nothing in this world is truly ours to hoard. Breath, water, sunlight, all are given freely. We are but temporary vessels through which life flows. Tonight, there is nothing to grasp, no proving, no pleasing. Let your breath flow as it will. Let the body rest, as the earth holds it. And perhaps, beneath the surface of ordinary moments, you too may glimpse the perfect moon shining quietly within the simplest of wells. And so the night unfolds. Breath slows, limbs soften, thoughts drift like fallen leaves upon a quiet stream. There's nothing you must do now. My friend, the stories are not tasks. They are gentle companions on this inward journey. Let us walk now into a quieter place, not a city, not a grand hall, but a small monastery nestled against forested hills. The air here carries the scent of pine and faint incense. Crickets sing softly beneath the silver gaze of the moon. In this temple lives a young nun named Kiyono. She has studied diligently for many years, chanted the sutras, Saturday in long hours of meditation, listened carefully to the words of revered teachers. Yet enlightenment, that direct knowing beyond words, has eluded her. And tonight, once again, she chooses not to sleep. Instead, she carries her wooden bucket toward the monastery's well. Perhaps, she thinks, in this simple task, insight may arise where formal practice has not. Feel the coolness of the night air, the smooth worn handle of the bucket in her hands, the rhythmic sound of her steps upon the stone path. At the well, she pauses. The water below reflects the full moon, perfect, luminous, untouched by the hand that would draw it. She lowers the bucket slowly. The rope slides through her fingers. The surface of the water ripples, the moon's image trembling, reforming, drawing the bucket upward. Chiyono notices a crack in the wooden base. Water seeps through a small loss. But troubling, she hurries, hoping to reach the kitchen before too much is lost. Step by careful step, she walks. The bucket feels heavier with purpose, lighter with loss, Droplets trail behind her upon the stone. And then, life happens. Without warning, the bottom of the bucket gives way, water pursuit in a sudden rush, soaking her robes, splashing upon the ground. The bucket, light now, swings empty in her grasp. At first, surprise, then frustration, but then something shifts. In the glistening puddles at her feet, she sees it, the moon, reflected again and again in each small pool, in each droplet, no longer contained within the bucket, no longer held, yet present everywhere. A sound escapes her lips, a soft laugh, or perhaps a cry, a sound arising from a place beyond thought. In that moment, Kiyono sees clearly. The moon was never in the bucket. The bucket never contained it. And even broken, nothing of the moon is lost. Years of striving, of trying to capture enlightenment to possess it as knowledge, as attainment dissolve like water returning to the earth. Later, when asked of her realization, she writes, "In this way and that, I tried to save the old pail, since the bamboo strip was weakening and about to break, until at last the bottom fell out. No more water in the pail. No more moon in the water. Aye, now, my friend, as you rest here, consider, what buckets have you carried? Concepts, beliefs, identities all crafted to hold understanding, to contain life, to preserve certainty, yet life is like water fluid, ungraspable, and the reflections we seek to preserve peace, happiness. Clarity cannot truly be contained by structures of thought or striving. Often, it is when the bucket breaks, when plans fall apart, when roles dissolve, when cherished ideas shatter that we glimpse what has always been free, always beyond grasp. And tonight, there is nothing to grasp. No need to hold this moment. No need to capture sleep, or stillness, or wisdom. Let your breath rise and fall. Let the body grow heavier still. And if some bucket within you should crack some idea of self, of control, of how things should be, do not rush to patch it. Perhaps, through those cracks, the moonlight may enter. And you may remember, as Kiyono did, that the true light is never lost. It shines freely, not within the vessel, but in the vastness of being itself. Rest now. No more water in the pail. No more moon in the water. And nothing needed but this breath, this presence, this peace. The night deepens further now. Perhaps by now, your breath has found a quieter rhythm. The body, more at ease. Thoughts passing like clouds across an open sky. In this soft space, let us visit another place, high in the mountains, where morning mist clings to pines and paths wind gently between wooden buildings. Here stands a small monastery, not grand, not rich, weathered by years and seasons. The monks here live simply tending gardens, chopping wood, carrying water. Among them walks an old man, Master Hyakujo. His hair is silvered, his face mapped with deep lines not of worry, but of a life well lived. Though well into his 80s, he still works beside his students each day. His presence is quiet, steady like a mountain that moves with the wind, not against it. Each morning, after meditation, Hyakujo leads his students into the gardens. They till the soil, gather firewood, prepare meals to outsiders. It may seem mundane, but here, Work is not separate from spiritual practice. It is the practice, each movement, an expression of presence, of attentiveness. Yet, as time passed, the younger monks began to notice the master's age. They saw him pause to catch his breath, his hands trembling slightly, and so, in whispered conversations, they devised a plan. "Tomorrow," they said, "let us hide his tools. He should rest now. He has earned it." And morning came. The wooden fish drum called all to meditation. After breakfast, the monks began their work, while Hyakujo, finding his tools missing, returned quietly to his quarters. Satisfied, the monks believed they had done a kind thing. But that evening, something was different. When they gathered for the final meal, the master's place remained empty. No bowl was served for him. Concerned, a senior student went to Hyakujo's room. "Master," he asked, "why did you not come to eat?" Hyakujo opened his eyes, calm, clear. "I did not work today," he said simply. "Therefore, I do not eat today." The words, gentle yet profound, struck the student's heart. He bowed deeply and hurried to tell the others. The next morning, without a word, the master's tools had reappeared in their place. And as the bell rang, Hyakujo once again walked to the garden. Unwind. From this, a simple saying arose, one that echoed through generations of Zen practitioners. A day without work is a day without food. Oh, not as punishment, not as rule, but as a reflection of the natural harmony of life. Now, my friend, as you rest here, beneath your own roof, consider, in life, we often seek division between sacred and mundane, between spiritual and ordinary, but in truth, there is no such split. Chopping wood, carrying water, preparing food, answering an email, tending a garden, washing dishes, each act, approached with full presence, becomes the way, and as Master Hyakujo showed, to participate in life is itself the nourishment of spirit, to give, to contribute not out of obligation, but as a natural flow of being alive. Tonight, as you lie here, you do not need to do anything, yet in the simple act of resting fully, of allowing the body to be held by the earth, you are participating. You are breathing with life. No striving, no lack. Perhaps tomorrow, you will chop wood or type at a keyboard, or make tea or smile at a stranger. Let each be done with presence, without division, without thought of achievement. As Hyakujo taught, when we show up fully for life, we are already nourished. When we withdraw from life, we deprive not only the world, but ourselves. And so, there is no need tonight to seek lofty states. This breath is enough. This moment is enough. Rest is enough. Sleep comes, as it will not as something to chase, but as something to welcome when the body is ready, when the mind releases its grasp. And tomorrow, when the sun rises, life will invite you again. A new day, a new chance to meet it fully. A day with work, a day with food, a day with presence. But for now, simply rest. Breath rising, falling, body softening, the quiet of the night embracing you fully. And now, deeper still, breath soft, body resting, the boundary between thought and dream more fluid. In this liminal space, Let us walk quietly into another temple. Not a grand monastery now, not a bustling sangha, but a small, humble temple nestled alone on a mist-wrapped mountain. Here lives Master Tsuigen. Unlike many teachers who gather disciples around them, Tsuigen often spends weeks in solitude speaking to no one, seeing no one. Yet those who have trained with him speak of an extraordinary presence, a way of moving, of being where every gesture arises not from habit, but from awake awareness. And this morning, like so many others, Tsuigen prepares his tea in silence. The wooden floor creaks softly beneath his bare feet. Steam rises from the cup, curling into the light of dawn. Then, something curious, a voice, clear and firm, breaks the quiet. Master, there is no one else present. The words have come from Tsuigen himself. A pause. Then, in the same voice, he replies, yes. Another pause. Then, stay awake. End of chapter. Yes. End of chapter. From this moment forward, do not be deceived. End of chapter. Yes. End of chapter. To an outsider, perhaps one approaching the temple unknowingly, this might seem strange, even mad. A man speaking to himself aloud, calling himself Master. End of chapter. But beneath the surface, profound practice is at work. Tsuigen is addressing the different aspects of his own mind, the part that knows and the part that forgets, the awake presence and the habitual patterns that would lull it back into sleep. He reminds himself aloud to stay awake, not merely in body, but in spirit, not to be deceived by appearances, by old stories, by the conditioning of thought. For each of us, too, contains these layers. The part that experiences life sensations, emotions, desires, and the deeper presence that watches, aware of all these passing clouds. Too often, we become entangled in the clouds, mistaking them for the sky itself. Tsuigen's practice is a returning again and again to the sky of awareness beneath all passing forms. Now, as you lie here, breath rising and falling, consider, there is the part of you that feels the weight of the blanket, the coolness or warmth of the air, the thoughts that drift through the mind, and there is another part, the one aware of all this, the one who knows that you are lying here, the one who listens, not just to these words, but to the silence between them. This awareness does not come and go. It does not depend on whether thoughts are pleasant or troubled. It is not improved by success, nor diminished by failure. It is simply present, always. This is your master, not in the sense of a controlling force, but as the stable, awake ground of being. And like Tsuigen, we can remind ourselves, stay awake, not through striving, not as a tense vigilance, but as a gentle returning throughout your day in conversation, in movement. In quiet, this presence remains. And tonight, as you drift toward sleep, it remains still. Thoughts may dissolve, dreams may arise, yet beneath it all, this awake presence is untouched. You do not need to force it. You do not need to awaken it. It is already here. Sometimes, a simple question can help you remember who knows this breath, who hears this sound, who is aware of this thought arising. Not to answer intellectually, but to let the question open the space of awareness itself. And if you wish, as you drift deeper, you might softly echo Tsuigen's practice within yourself. Stay awake. End of 6. Yes. End of 6. Not with strain, but with gentle presence. And in this way, The awake heart of your being rests not dependent on conditions, not grasping at outcomes. For even in sleep, this awareness holds you, as the sky holds the clouds. Nothing to do, nothing to attain, simply this breath, this presence, this moment. And so, drift now, if you wish, held in the gentle knowing of your own deepest nature. The Master is already here. And now, as the night holds you gently, breath by breath, let us visit another place, another meeting. Picture now a temple in China, not a mountain hermitage this time, but a teaching hall where seekers often come to learn, to inquire. Rain falls softly upon the tiled roof, its rhythm a steady, soothing percussion, as though the earth itself were breathing. Inside the hall, the air is warm with incense. A teacher sits in stillness. Master Dewan, a man of years and of depth, whose presence alone speaks more than words. Into this space comes a young man, Yamaoka, bold, brilliant, eager. He has studied with many masters. He has read deeply, debated widely. His mind is sharp, his confidence unshaken. And today, he comes not to ask, but to proclaim. Bowing swiftly, he sits before the Master. Master, he begins, his voice steady, prepared. I have realized, mind, Buddha, sentient beings, none of them truly exist. All is emptiness. There is no realization, no delusion, no sage, no ordinary person. There is no giving, and nothing to be received. He speaks with conviction. His words echo teachings well known, the Heart Sutra, the great texts. And yet, something lingers beneath, a subtle grasping, a clinging to the very idea of non-clinging. Master Dewan listens without interruption, his gaze steady, clear, no agreement, no argument. Then without warning, he lifts a nearby bamboo pipe and strikes Yamaoka lightly across the shoulder. A sudden, sharp sound, bamboo on cloth, bamboo on flesh. Yamaoka gasps, startled. His body tenses. Anger flickers in his eyes. Master, he exclaims, why did you do that? And Dewan, leaning forward, asks softly, simply, if nothing exists, from where did this anger arise? In the space that follows, the rain seems louder. The air itself thickens with meaning. Yamaoka sits frozen, the polished certainty of moments before cracks. For here, in this simple moment, body struck, anger felt, life has answered what philosophy could not. Not emptiness, not concept, but living, breathing reality. The Master's strike was not cruelty, it was compassion, a pointing beyond words, beyond the trap of concept. And now, my friend, as you lie here, perhaps there are moments in your life too, where certainty has been struck, where life, with its bamboo pipe, has reminded you that no amount of knowing can replace direct being. Perhaps it was a word from a friend that stung, a moment of loss, an unexpected joy. In those moments, ideas fall away. What remains is the simple, naked experience of the heart, and that more than any sutra is the field of practice. We may know all is impermanent, yet feel grief when change comes. We may understand non-attachment, yet cling to what we love. We may recite emptiness, Yet anger arises when struck. This is not failure. It is life. It is where practice begins, not in escaping the human, but in entering it fully, with presence. Tonight, there is no need to understand this, no need to resolve anything. If thoughts arise, let them. If emotions stir, notice them with kindness. And if some part of you wishes to get it right, to be the perfect practitioner, you might smile gently and ask, as Dawan did, and where does this wish arise? In this way, every moment, breath, thought, sensation becomes an invitation to return, not to an idea, but to this breath, this body, this aliveness. Even as sleep approaches, presence remains. You are not here to attain something tonight, not enlightenment, not peace, not even rest. You are simply here being, and that, my friend, is enough. As Dawan Strike reminded Yamaoka, life is not a puzzle to be solved. It is a mystery to be lived, so let the breath move as it will. Let the body sink deeper. Let mind float gently, without grasping. And know, even in dreams, the awake heart remains untouched. The sky behind the clouds is always clear. And now, the breath deepens. The body rests heavier now. As though embraced by the earth itself, thoughts drift. Perhaps like leaves upon a slow-moving river. No need to hold them. No need to send them away. In this space, let us follow another thread to Kyoto once again. But this time, centuries ago when emperors ruled with unseen hands, and life beneath palace walls unfolded unseen. It was such a day, an imperial procession winding through the city's main avenue. Imagine the scene now. The ground trembles with the tread of guards on horseback. Drums beat. Bamboo flutes weave, haunting melodies through the air. Banners flutter. Silk curtains shimmer. At the heart of it all, Emperor Daisho, borne aloft in a palanquin of gold and sandalwood. Its purple curtains shielding royal eyes from the common world. For weeks, the route had been prepared. Streets swept, facades polished. The poor, discreetly moved beyond sight, all arranged, so that the emperor's gaze would fall only upon the beauty of his realm. And yet, as life often does, the wind conspired otherwise. A sudden gust, stronger than the rest, lifted the curtain of the palanquin. For a brief moment, the emperor's gaze fell where it was not meant to, a narrow side street, unprepared, untouched, and there in shadow lay the body of a man, a beggar, alone, unclaimed, without a word. Daisho raised his hand. The procession halted. The music ceased. Courtiers exchanged uneasy glance. This was not the plan. Quietly, the emperor spoke. I wish to see. And a fruit. His attendants hesitated, but none dared refuse. The palanquin veered from its path, and Daisho stepped down feet, touching common earth. To the astonishment of all, he walked to where the body lay, looked, stood in stillness. Then he said, asterisk, this man, too, was my subject. He died alone, uncared for. He remains unburied. How can I claim to rule when such things happen within the shadow of my own palace? Asterisk. The ministers stammered explanations. Excuses. Too many poor. Too many beyond the reach of royal care. But Daisho raised his hand once more. Enough. see that this man is buried with dignity, and seek out how many others live or die unseen in our city. And so began a quiet transformation, not of law, but of heart. In the days that followed, the emperor commissioned reports, founded almshouses, walked the streets in disguise, to see for himself what royal eyes had long been shielded from. And in time, he came to be known as Daisho, the compassionate, not for grand decrees, but for the courage to truly see. Now, my friend, as you lie here, breath slow, body at ease, consider we are not emperors, yet each of us rides a kind of palanquin built not of gold, but of habit. We choose what we see and what we turn from. We craft lives that shield us from discomfort, from truths we do not wish to face. And yet, sometimes, life lifts the curtain, a glimpse of suffering in another, a sadness long buried within ourselves, a beauty unnoticed in the rush of doing. In such moments, we may wish to turn away, to pull the curtain closed once more. But perhaps, like Daisho, we can choose instead to pause, to look, to let the heart respond, not to fix everything, not to save the world, but simply to see with clear eyes and an open heart, for it is from such seeing that compassion arises not as an effort, but as a natural flow. As the Buddha taught, when we see suffering clearly, without aversion or grasping, the heart responds with boundless kindness. And tonight, my friend, there is no need to seek such seeing, no need to strain the heart. Simply rest. If life lifts a curtain in dream or in thought, notice what is there. Greet it gently. This too is part of my realm. Anderson, breath by breath, I'll rest deeper. Let the body be held. Let the heart rest in its own natural kindness. And remember, compassion begins not with grand action, but with the simple courage to see. And now, even deeper still, breath slow, the body, so soft now, held without effort. And here, in this space beyond striving, let us follow another story. A simple hut, alone at the edge of a small village, near the mountains of China, a place of quiet, of solitude. For 20 years, a monk had lived here, not in laziness, no. He had practiced with great diligence, memorized sutras, sought in deep meditation, renounced worldly ties. The villagers revered him. Among them, one old woman, weathered by life's labors, had brought him food each day, humble offerings of rice, vegetables from her garden. For 20 years, this rhythm held, a bowl placed, a bow exchanged, silence shared. But over time, the old woman began to wonder, what had come of these years of practice? What wisdom had grown from such perfect conditions? And so, one day, with a heart both firm and kind, she asked, "Tell me, Venerable One, what have you realized?" The monk, pleased for such a chance, spoke with measured tone. "I have seen that all is emptiness. That form is none other than emptiness. Emptiness, none other than form. All phenomena rise and fall like dreams, like bubbles in a stream, and fine words, learned words. Yet, something in the old woman's face changed. Without a word, she lifted the bowl of rice and threw it to the ground. The bowl shattered. Rice scattered like white snow upon the earth. Her voice rang clear. 20 years? 20 years I have brought you food. And all you offer are dead words. This rice, it was alive. This bowl shaped by hands. And you, trapped in hollow phrases? And the monk stood frozen, his certainty cracked, his understanding shaken. That night, alone in his hut, the words echoed, dead words, dead words. Doubt seeped in, not the doubt of mind, but the deeper doubt of the heart, seeing its own veils. And then, the next day, the old woman returned, but this time with a torch. The monk, seeing her approach, hurried out. What are you doing? Her eyes, calm yet fierce. If your realization were true, you would know nothing of value can be taken from you. This hut, these texts, your very robes, impermanent as the morning dew. Before he could stop her, she touched flame to the dry thatch. The hut blazed. Years of practice sutras, cushions, all turned to ash. At first anger, grief, then something deeper, as the flames consumed the outer refuge. On innervei lyfte, what have I truly known? What remains when all is burned away? And in that naked seeing, a different knowing arose. Not words, not forms, but a direct, unbound presence. Later, villagers would find him seated among the ashes, serene, humbled, awake in a way no sutra could convey. Now, my friend, as you rest, perhaps, too, you have built huts of the mind, beliefs about who you are, stories of success, of failure, ideas of what awakening must look like, and sometimes, life or a fierce compassion comes with its torch. A plan dissolves, a role is lost, a truth you clung to crumbles. In such moments, the old habit may arise. This should not be. Yet perhaps, beneath the ashes, what you truly are is not lost. The sky is vast, unburned. The moon remains, though clouds pass. And tonight, you need not burn your hut. You need not seek to let go forcefully. Simply rest. If thoughts arise, greet them gently. If attachments stir, notice with kindness. And know, what is deepest in you needs no protection, needs no validation. It is here, already, quietly awake beneath all arising and passing. Just this breath, just this moment, just this ease. And as sleep approaches, perhaps, like the monk in the ashes, you may smile softly. For what is real can never be burned away. And now, breath even slower, body so soft now, as though floating in a quiet sea, thoughts like faint ripples upon a vast stillness. In this deepening space, let us follow another story. To Japan now, the late 19th century. Autumn, the maple trees blaze crimson and gold. Leaves drift lazily upon temple grounds. And along a worn path comes a man wrapped in fine silk, his every step measured. This is Tanaka, one of the wealthiest merchants in the land. His ships cross the seas. His name commands respect. And yet, within him stirs a restlessness that gold cannot soothe. For though his warehouses overflow, his heart feels empty. Sleep eludes him. Fear shadows his steps. And so desperate now he comes to Engakuji Temple, seeking Master Soen Shaku, not for religion, not for ritual, but for something deeper, though he knows not what. He is led through simple wooden halls. The air here carries no scent of wealth, only aged wood, earth, incense. And when he meets Soen Shaku, he finds not a grand teacher, but a quiet man, seated plainly. After formalities, Tanaka speaks words practiced, polished. Master, I have achieved much, but peace escape me. Each success brings only more fear of loss. I had believed wealth would bring security, but instead, I find myself more restless than ever. End quote. A pause. Then, seeking familiar ground, he adds, I am prepared to make a generous donation to your temple in exchange for teachings that may bring me peace. End quote. But Soen Shaku does not lean toward the offer, nor away. He simply listens, present, unmoved by gain or loss. And after a quiet moment, he speaks. The dissatisfaction you describe is not yours alone. It is the human pattern to seek contentment through acquisition. But this approach rests upon a simple misunderstanding. I note, Tanaka frowns slightly. Few dare call his worldview mistaken. And yet, something in the master's presence stills him. What misunderstanding? He asks. Soen Shaku rises gestures toward a small window. Together, they gaze upon the temple's rock garden. Simple stones, raked gravel, a lone maple tree. What do you see? The master asks. A well-designed garden. Tanaka replies cautiously. Soen Shaku smiles softly. Asterisk, asterisk. Its beauty lies not in what was added, but in what was removed. What remains is simple, essential. So too with the peace you seek. It is not something to be gained, but revealed when the clutter of seeking falls away. Undeftie, returning to his seat, the master points to a calligraphy scroll. Do you know what those characters say? Tanaka shakes his head. Open your own treasure house. The Risek, not mine, not the Buddha's. Your own. It has never been locked. It has never been empty. You have simply been looking elsewhere. And in that moment, Tanaka's breath catches, not understanding, but remembering, a glimpse of childhood, a day beneath summer skies, a moment when nothing was lacking, when life itself was enough. The memory stirs something long forgotten. But how? He asks softly. How do I return to that simplicity? Soen Shaku replies, you do not return, as in place, nor do you attain, as in place. You simply cease believing that peace lies outside yourself. Stop, be still, and notice what remains when the seeking rests. And in the silence that follows, something shifts in Tanaka, not a grand awakening, but a quiet loosening, a breath taken not in striving, but in ease. Later, when offering his donation, Soen Shaku says, give, if you give, from the treasure house not to purchase merit. And Tanaka, for the first time in years, bows, not in formality, but in gratitude. Now, my friend, as you lie here, perhaps, too, there is a part of you that has sought in doing, in learning, in achieving, and yet tonight, there is nothing to seek. You do not need to become someone else. You do not need to improve. And the treasure house is here. This breath, this presence, this ease, nothing to add, nothing to chase. And as sleep draws nearer, no, peace is not in the next thing, nor in the next moment. It is here when seeking rests, when breath is simply breath, when you are simply you, as you are. So rest now in your own treasure house. And now, the night is deep. Perhaps the edges of wakefulness have softened for you. Perhaps thoughts drift slowly, like lanterns floating downstream. And here, in this space of gentle being, let us walk once more into story, but this time not to a monastery, nor to a grand palace. Tonight, we travel to India, to a dusty road outside Sravasti, in the time when the Buddha still walked among men. The sun hangs low, golden. Heat shimmers upon the path. Birdsong mingles with distant sounds of daily life. And along this road moves a gathering monks, lay people, merchants, surrounding a simple figure, the Buddha himself, robed in saffron, head shaved. He walks with quiet grace, not with the grandeur of a king, but with the ease of one fully present in each step. His presence draws many. Some seek answers. Some seek healing. Some come simply to see. And among them, that day, came one unexpected, an old woman bent with age. Her face, lined by sun and time, approached, a bundle of sticks upon her back. Her gaze clear, direct. She stopped before the Buddha. No reverent bow, no soft words. "So you are the one they call Buddha," she said, voice strong. Asterisk, asterisk, they say you teach kindness, compassion for all. Yet I have watched you, and I see you smile when others praise you. Speak gently when they are kind. Is this compassion or merely good manners? Asterisk, asterisk, around hair. The monks stirred, some uneasy, some indignant, but the Buddha remained still, his gaze open, his heart unmoved by either praise or challenge. "Anyone?" the old woman continued. Asterisk, asterisk, can be kind to those who are kind, but true compassion is shown to those who challenge us. And here the Buddha smiled, not defensively, not to appease, but with genuine warmth. "You are right," he said simply. "What you have spoken is true, and for this, I thank you." M6. He then asked, "If one offers a gift but it is not accepted to, whom does it belong?" The old woman replied, "To the giver." M6. "And so it is," the Buddha said. Asterisk, asterisk. When anger or criticism is offered but not received, it remains with the giver. Yet when truth is spoken even in challenge, it is a gift, and I accept it gladly. And the woman's gaze softened, not in defeat, but in mutual recognition. "Perhaps," she said, "there is something in your teaching after all." And with that, she lifted her bundle of sticks, but this time, her step seemed lighter. "Now, my friend, as you lie here, perhaps within you, too, there are voices, inner critics, old judgments, bundles you have carried long upon your back. Sometimes, we offer these to ourselves, again and again, unaware that we need not pick them up. And sometimes, others offer us their burdens, anger, judgment, fear, hoping we will carry them. But as the Buddha taught, we are free to choose. A criticism seen clearly may hold a seed of truth, and if so, we can bow to it with gratitude. But anger, blame, shame, if seen clearly, may simply be left where it lies, not as rejection, but as understanding. This is not mine to carry. And fording. And in this way, compassion arises not by force, but by freedom. For when we no longer carry the unneeded, the heart has space to soften, to see clearly, to meet life as it is, friend or critic, praise or blame, with the same gentle presence. Tonight, there is nothing you must pick up. If thoughts arise, let them pass. If old burdens appear, you may bow to them kindly and let them be. There is no need to carry them into sleep. No need to sort them now. No need to resolve or perfect anything tonight. Only this breath, this body resting, this gentle heart opening, and perhaps, as the Buddha smiled that day, you too may smile now softly, inwardly knowing what is truly yours cannot be given or taken, and what is not yours need not be carried. Rest now, dear one. Nothing to prove, nothing to fix, only this breath and this boundless, gentle ease. And now, deeper still, the breath rises, falls, soft as a wave upon a moonlit shore. The body rests heavier, now a welcome heaviness, like being cradled by the earth itself. And within this stillness, let us follow another story. You may remember that I told you once, not all awakenings happen in the meditation hall. Not all wisdom wears the robes of the monastery. Often, life itself is the greatest teacher, if we dare to see. This story is one such moment. It was an autumn night, many years ago, in Kyoto. A wealthy merchant, a man of great ambition, prepared a lavish feast, not for the joy of giving, but to impress. You see, Master EQ, the famed Zen monk, had agreed to attend, and so the finest sake was brought forth. Delicacies rare and costly were prepared. Silks, veahung. Musicians tuned their flutes and strings. But beneath all this grandeur, the merchant's heart beat fast with a quieter desire to elevate his standing, to be admired for his generosity. And when the evening came, and the guests arrived in fine attire, the merchant welcomed them with smiles, both practiced and tight. Then at last came EQ, simple robe, unkempt hair, wooden bowl in hand, no airs, no effort to impress. And yet, when he entered, the room shifted. The weight of true presence is felt even in silence. The merchant bowed low, too low, hoping to mask his nervousness. Master EQ, what an honor to receive you. EQ only nodded and took his place. And so the evening unfolded, dish after dish. Wine poured, conversation flowing, yet always circling back to status, reputation, success. EQ remained quiet, eating little, observing much, but the merchant grew restless. Why would the master not praise the feast? Why remain so distant? At last, when the room was full of sound and drink, EQ rose. "Honored host," he said softly, "might I trouble you for a cup of water from your well?" Oh, a ripple of surprise moved through the room. Water? When the finest sake flowed, the merchant, caught off guard, stammered, "Of course I shall have it brought." But EQ smiled. "I would prefer to draw it myself." Oh, now. Curiosity pulled the guests from their cushions. By lantern light, they followed the master and host into the garden. The night was cool. The moon hung full and silver. The well stood at the far corner, old stone, worn smooth by many hands. Together, they leaned over its edge. There in the still water, the moon was reflected perfectly. Ikkyu reached for the bucket, lowered it slowly. Rope sliding through practiced fingers. Ripples trembled. Reformed. The moon remained. Drawing the bucket up, he spoke. The moon travels freely across the sky. And yet here in this humble well, it rests undiminished. He drank deeply, then turned to the gathering. Asterisk, asterisk, this water, it quenches all thirst. It asks nothing of the drinker. It distinguishes not between rich or poor, noble or common. True generosity is like this, given freely, without calculation, without expectation of return. And, at these words, the merchant's carefully crafted smile faltered, for in his heart, he knew tonight's feast had been but a transaction, wrapped in gold, an attempt to gain, not a gift to give. He bowed deeply. Master, you are right. I have given like a merchant weighed and measured. I would rather give like this. Well, and so, the room shifted when they returned. Masks slipped. Laughter softened. Conversations deepened. For a time, they were simply people beneath the same moon. Now, my friend, as you rest here, beneath your own roof, in your own quiet space, perhaps this story speaks to something within you, too. For how often in our modern lives do we measure our giving, our kindness, tracked, our worth, compared, even our moments of presence sometimes offered with the hope of being seen, of being valued. But there is another way, the way of the well, to give not because it will be noticed, not because it will return, but because giving is natural, as breath flows, as rivers run, as the moon shines. In truth, you have such a well within you. Perhaps it has been covered at times by striving, by self-doubt, by old wounds, but beneath it all, the water remains, clear, alive, abundant. And tonight, there is nothing you must do to uncover it. No effort to make. Simply resting is enough. As the breath moves, as the heart softens, the well within opens. And tomorrow, who knows, perhaps a word of kindness will flow from you unbidden. Perhaps a smile, a listening ear, a small act of unseen generosity, not because you should, not to gain merit, but because it is your nature to give. And here, now, as you lie in stillness, you, too, are like the well, holding nothing, asking nothing, giving freely and being. So rest, dear one. There is no one to impress, no standard to meet, no ledger to balance. You are enough. This breath is enough. This moment is enough. And as you drift further, know the well within you is always full. The moon is always shining. And there is great peace in simply allowing it to be so, breath by breath, softening, opening, ease. And now, the night deepens. Perhaps your body feels almost weightless now. Perhaps the edges of thought blur, as if wrapped in soft mist. You are here exactly as you are. There is nothing to fix, nothing to become. And in this soft space, we follow another story. A story of seeking and the letting go beyond seeking. It was winter long ago in a monastery high upon the mountains of China. Snow fell gently, layer upon layer, blanketing the stone paths. And within this stillness walked a monk, Kyogen. 15 years he had studied. 15 years he had practiced. Endless hours upon the cushion, endless words in the sutras. And yet, one question burned within him still. What was my original face before my parents were born? A question not of the intellect but of the heart. A koan meant to dissolve thought, not to be answered by it. Yet Kyogen's mind chased it still. And one morning, burdened beyond measure, he sought his teacher, Master Isan. Snow upon his shoulders, he bowed low. Asterisk, asterisk, Master. I have done all I can. I have studied. I have practiced. And still, this question tore on me. How can I go beyond this limit? Asterisk, asterisk. Master Isan looked upon him kindly and said, simply, if I were to explain it to you, it would become my understanding, not yours. And of Cray, Kyogen pressed further, desperation in his voice. Asterisk, asterisk. Then what more can I do? I have climbed the 100-foot pole. How can I take the next step? Asterisk, asterisk. And Isan smiled softly. Let go. End of 14. No more. No elaboration. Only those two words. And with that, he left Kyogen alone amidst the falling snow. In the weeks that followed, something shifted in Kyogen. He no longer sought answers from books. He no longer sought explanations from others. He performed his duties, chopping wood, carrying water, yet with a presence stripped of striving. A deeper silence had entered him. Then, one day, in the bamboo grove, while sweeping the path, his broom struck a stone. It struck a hollow bamboo stalk. Tonk. One clear, perfect sound. And in that instant, everything fell away. Not through effort, not through thought, but in a single moment of direct seeing, the question dissolved. All striving dropped away. He laughed a deep, joyful laugh. Not the laughter of relief, but of one who sees what has always been here. Later, when asked, he said, asterisk, asterisk. One note of bamboo, and all my questions vanished. All my knowledge, a single hair in the vast sky. And now, my friend, as you lie here, perhaps you, too, have carried questions. Am I enough? What comes next? When will peace come? And perhaps, like Kyogen, you have sought through many means, books, teachings, practices, and these are good when approached with heart. But sometimes, the deepest shift comes not by effort, but by release, by allowing the question itself to soften, to dissolve, leaving space for what is beyond words. Tonight, you do not need to solve anything. You do not need to grasp understanding. If a thought arises, notice it. Let it pass. If a question surfaces, bow to it gently, then release. Perhaps in dream or in waking, somewhere within the flow of life, a sound, a moment will strike the bamboo within you. And in that instant, knowing, beyond knowing, will arise, not as something gained, but as something remembered. For what you truly are has never been separate from the sky itself. Vast, unbound, always here. So rest now, breath moving, softly, body cradled by earth and sky. No pole to climb, no step to take. Only this moment, vast and free. And now, as the night deepens still, breath soft, smooth, the body light as a leaf, adrift upon a quiet stream. There is nothing to do now, no place to go, only this moment. And in this moment, another story arises. You may notice a pattern within these stories. Some speak of letting go, some of seeing clearly, some of living simply, and this one brings us to the heart of simple living, to a monastery. High upon the mountains of ancient China, mist clings to the pines, stone paths wind between wooden buildings, and among the monks here walks an old man, Master Hyakujo, well into his 80s, yet each morning he rises before dawn, leads the meditation, then walks with the younger monks to the fields, to the garden. Work is not separate from practice here. Work is the practice. Chopping wood, carrying water, tending vegetables, every act an expression of presence. Yet, as time passed, the younger monks noticed their master's age, saw how he paused more often, how his hands sometimes trembled, and so in whispered conversation they made a plan. Tomorrow, they said, asterisk, asterisk, let us hide his tools. He should rest. Now, he has earned it. In spank. And so, morning came. Meditation ended. The monks set off to their work, but Hyakujo, finding his tools missing, simply returned to his quarters. The monks were pleased. He will rest today, they thought. But that evening, when they gathered for the final meal, the master's place remained empty. No bowl was served. Concerned, a senior monk went to him. Master, he asked, why do you not come to eat? And Hyakujo replied calmly, I did not work today. Therefore, I do not eat today. The words, simple, yet they carried great weight. The monk bowed deeply, understanding flowing through him. And the next morning, Hyakujo's tools had quietly reappeared. No words were spoken, but from that day, the saying arose, a day without work is a day without food. Male. Now, my friend, as you lie here, this is not a teaching of punishment, nor of rigid rule. It is a reflection of the natural harmony of life. To give is to receive. To participate is to be nourished. In our modern lives, it is easy to forget this. We may become disconnected from the land, from the body, from the cycles of nature. We may seek reward without contribution. Yet beneath all the noise, this truth remains. When we show up fully for life, life nourishes us in return. And work here need not be grand. It may be a simple act, washing a dish, watering a plant, listening deeply, offering a smile. Presence is the true work. And in presence, there is nourishment, even now. As you lie resting, you are participating, breathing with life. Being breathed by life, there is no need to strive. Sleep is not something to achieve. It is the fruit of allowing, of returning to the natural rhythm. Inhale, exhale, effortless giving and receiving. And tomorrow, when you rise, Perhaps you will remember, work is not a burden. It is an opportunity to engage, to be part of the great flow, and even the smallest act, done with presence, becomes a form of nourishment, not just for the world, but for the heart. So rest now. Dear one, you have worked enough for today. There is nothing more to do. No task left unfinished in this moment. You have shown up to this day, to this breath, to this life. And now, sleep is the natural fruit. Let it come. Let it carry you. As giving and receiving become one. As breath and rest flow in harmony, as the heart remembers its place within the great dance of life. No separation, no division. A day with presence, a night with peace. Rest, dear one, rest well. And now, the breath has grown even softer, almost as if breathes itself. Without any doing, the body, warm, safe, weightless, the mind, like an open sky. And here, we follow another gentle thread. You may remember, not all practice happens in a hall. Not all realization comes in words. Sometimes, it arises in the most intimate of ways, a simple conversation with oneself. There was once, on a mist-wrapped mountain in China, a small temple stood alone. No students bustling, no grand ceremonies. Here lived Master Zuigen, known for his strange, yet profound practice. Each morning, before the sun rose, he would sit in silence. The wooden floor beneath him, the cool breath of dawn brushing his skin, and then breaking the quiet, a voice would sound, "Master, all." No one else was present. The words came from Zuigen himself, and in the same clear tone, he would answer, "Yes." A pause. Then again, "Stay awake." All, yes. All, do not be deceived. All, yes. All, you see, this was not madness, nor performance. It was a dialogue between the witnessing mind and the conditioned mind, between the deep, awake awareness and the patterns that so easily lull us into forgetfulness. And so day after day, Zuigen reminded himself, "Stay awake, and free, do not be deceived, and free." Now, my friend, as you rest here, this too is true for us. Within each of us, there is the experiencing self-feeling, sensing, thinking, and there is the witness, the space of pure awareness that knows, "I am here and free." Too often, we become lost in the experience, in thought, in emotion, in habit. We forget the sky and cling to the passing clouds. Zuigen's practice was a way of returning again and again to the sky. Now, as you breathe, notice there is the sensation of breath and the knowing of it. There is the body resting and the knowing of it. There are thoughts drifting and the knowing of them. This knowing, this aware space is always here. It does not arise. It does not fade. It simply is. And this awareness is your deepest nature, unmoved by success or failure, untouched by praise or blame. It holds all that arises with ease, with compassion. So tonight, as you drift toward sleep, perhaps you may whisper inwardly, as Zuigen did, "Stay awake," and not as tension, not as effort, but as a gentle remembering. Even as the body sleeps, even as dreams arise, this awareness remains spacious, open, at peace. And when tomorrow comes, you may carry this remembrance with you, that amidst all doing, all thinking, all feeling, there is this presence untouched. You are not what you do. You are not what you think. You are not even what you feel. You are this open sky within which all things arise and pass. And knowing this, there is great freedom to live lightly, to love freely, to meet each moment with compassion. So rest now in this knowing, breath by breath, not striving to attain awareness, not seeking to hold it. It is here, always. It is who you are. And as the body softens further, let this presence cradle you. No need to be anything other than what you are. Right here, Master. End quote. Yes. Oh, stay awake. Oh, yes. Oh, and now, let the breath carry you deeper into this vast, open sky of being. And now, softer still, breath gentle, the body light, cradled by the earth, the mind like the surface of a still lake. Thoughts may drift, let them. Sensations may arise, let them. There is nothing to do now. Nothing to change. Only this breath, this moment, this ease. And into this space, another story arises. A story of knowing and of not knowing, of the limits of concept and the freedom beyond. In ancient China, in a simple temple, sat a teacher, Master Dewan. His gaze was clear, his presence grounded. And one day, into this temple came a young seeker, Yamaoka. Not a beginner. He was known already for his sharp mind, his eloquence, his deep study of the sutras. And this day, he came, not to learn, but to declare. Bowing briefly, he began, asterisk, asterisk, Master, I have realized, mind, Buddha, sentient beings, none truly exist. All is emptiness. There is no realization, no delusion, no sage, no ordinary person. There is no giving, nothing to be received. And his words were polished, drawn from deep study, and he spoke them with conviction, with pride. Yet as he spoke, Master Dewan remained unmoved, listening, seeing, without reaction. And when Yamaoka finished, the master smiled softly. Without a word, he reached for a nearby bamboo pipe, and in one swift, fluid motion, struck Yamaoka lightly across the shoulder. A sharp sound, bamboo on cloth, bamboo on flesh. Yamaoka gasped, his body tensed. Anger flickered in his eyes. Master, he cried, why did you strike me? And Dewan leaned in, a voice calm, eyes clear. If nothing exists, from where did this anger arise? Silence filled the hall. The rain outside seemed louder in the stillness. And within Yamaoka, something cracked. The certainty he had carried dissolved. For here, in this simple moment, body struck. Anger felt. Life spoke louder than philosophy. Not emptiness as concept, but this living, breathing reality. The master's strike was no punishment. It was a gift, a pointing beyond words. beyond thought. Now, my friend, as you lie here, perhaps you, too, have carried certain knowing, beliefs about how life is, ideas about who you are, stories of what you must be, and perhaps, like Yamaoka, you have studied, you have sought, and this is good when done with heart. But sometimes, the deepest knowing arises not from adding more, but from seeing the limits of what can be known with the mind. For life is not a fixed idea, not a polished philosophy. It is alive. It moves, breathes, pulses, and in its living movement, no concept can contain it. Tonight, there is no need to understand this, no need to solve or grasp it. You are here, breath moving, life flowing through you, and that is enough. Perhaps a thought arises, am I doing this right? Have I reached the right state? And if it does, smile gently to it. Like Dewan to Yamaoka, ask softly, and where does this thought arise? Not to dismiss it, but to see it clearly, kindly, and as you do, it may dissolve on its own. For there is a knowing beyond thought, a presence that holds all experience. You do not need to become more awake. You are already awake to this moment. You do not need to chase emptiness. It is here in this breath, this body, this stillness, not something to grasp, but something to rest into. And perhaps, as with Yamaoka, life itself will offer moments sharp or soft that point you back to this living reality. A sound, a glance, a breath, not as concepts, but as life immediate, alive. And so tonight, as you drift deeper, let go of the striving to understand. There is nothing to figure out now, no perfect state to attain. Only this moment, alive and complete, breath moving, body resting, heart softening. And if a thought comes about emptiness, about enlightenment, about doing it right, smile gently. And remember, when Yamaoka's polished words faded, what remained was the direct experience of life, undeniable, ungraspable, and in that, freedom. So now, let this breath be enough. Let this moment be enough. No need to polish the mind. No need to chase perfection. You are already here. You have already arrived. And life, just as it is, whispers, this is it. Breath, rising, falling, body held in stillness, thoughts drifting like clouds across a vast sky, and beneath it all, awareness boundless, clear, at peace, no grasping, no pushing away, only this, and this is enough. And now, deeper still, breath softer than before, perhaps barely noticed now, yet it moves. As the tides move unseen beneath the surface, the body so light, so at ease, the mind, like an open field beneath a starlit sky, nothing to do, nowhere to go, no one to be. And from this stillness, another story arises. A story not of monks or temples, but of a king. For wisdom is not bound to robes. It can arise anywhere when the heart is open. This was long ago in the great city of Kyoto. The emperor then was Daisho, young in years, yet old in the weight of rule. He sought not conquest, nor fame, but to govern with heart. And one day, as was custom, a grand procession was arranged. Silk banners, polished armor, the rhythm of drums echoing through the city. The streets were swept. The poor discreetly moved from view, all prepared, so that the emperor's gaze would see only the beauty of his realm. And so, the procession began. Daisho sat within a palanquin, veiled in rich purple, borne aloft by many hands. His face calm, composed yet inwardly. A longing stirred to truly see my people, not only the face they prepare for me. Oh, and life, hearing such longing, often answers. A sudden wind arose. The curtain lifted, and through this fleeting gap, the emperor's gaze fell upon a narrow alley. There, in shadow, lay the body of a man. A beggar, alone, unclaimed. The procession halted. The music faded. Whispers rippled through the courtiers. But Daisho's voice was clear. Stop. Stepping down, feet touching earth. He walked alone to where the body lay. For a long moment, he simply stood, breathing, seeing, not as emperor, not as ruler, but as a fellow human being. And then he spoke, asterisk. This man was my subject too. He lived unseen, and now he lies unclaimed. How can I call myself ruler when such suffering passes unseen in my own city? Asterisk. The ministers began their careful words. There are many poor. We cannot save them all. It is the way of things. But Daisho raised his hand. Asterisk. Enough. See that this man is buried with dignity. And from this day, let us seek out those who remain unseen. And so began a quiet transformation. The emperor walked the streets in disguise, not to judge, not to rescue, but to see, to meet life where it was, in palaces and in alleys alike. And in time, he became known not for grand decrees, but for his heart that could not turn away. Now, my friend, as you lie here, perhaps this, too, touches something in you. For within us all, there are streets we do not walk, parts of life we do not wish to see, and sometimes, parts of ourselves we turn from, grief unprocessed, loneliness unnamed, old fears, long buried. And this is natural. The mind protects what the heart may not yet be ready to meet, but sometimes, as with Daisho, life lifts the curtain. A word, a memory, a moment of stillness like this one, and suddenly we see, and in that seeing without judgment, compassion arises, not as effort, but as a natural opening. This, too, is part of my realm. And in this way, the heart softens, no longer striving to divide life into worthy and unworthy, seen and unseen, good and bad, but embracing all with the vastness of the sky. And tonight, as you rest, there is nothing you must fix, no shadow you must force into the light. Simply rest. If a thought arises, greet it kindly. If an old feeling surfaces, bow to it gently. You are not here to battle your inner world. You are here simply to see. And in seeing, the unseen becomes held. As Daisho held the beggar not with words, but with presence. And so, let the breath move. Let the body soften. And if life lifts a curtain tonight, even in dream, greet what is there, gently. This, too, belongs. And as you do, you may find the heart becomes vast, capable of holding all, for in truth, there is no other, separate suffering. When we meet life fully, compassion flows, without striving, without end. So rest now, Dear one, you have nothing to prove, nothing to perfect. You are already whole, breath by breath, held in the boundless embrace of this moment. And perhaps, like Daisho, you may awaken tomorrow with eyes more open to life, to others, to yourself. But for now, rest, held by the vast compassion already within you. And now, even softer, breath, almost weightless now, a tide that moves on its own, the body fully at rest. Perhaps the edges of thought, blurred now, floating like mist over a still lake. And into this vast softness, another story arises. A story of seeking and the gentle falling away of seeking. Long ago, in a quiet monastery in Japan, there lived a nun Chiono, young in years, yet earnest in heart. For many seasons, she had studied, practiced, sought enlightenment. She read the sutras. She sat in meditation. She listened to teachers wise and kind. And still, the heart longed. When shall I awaken? When will I finally see? The mind, full of effort, of hope, of subtle striving. And one evening, as the moon rose full over the temple roofs, Chiono walked alone, a wooden bucket in her hands. The path was cool beneath her feet. The stars shimmered above. And within her, the same old longing stirred. Tonight, perhaps tonight, the insight will come. End of At the temple well. She paused, peering into its still depths. There the moon reflected perfect, round, lowering her bucket. She watched the ripples form and fade. Drawing the water slowly, she noticed a small crack in the bucket's base. A faint trickle escaped. Yet she walked on, determined to reach the hall before too much was lost. But then, life had its own plan. Without warning, the base of the bucket gave way. Water poured out a sudden rush, soaking her robes, splashing upon the stone path. For a moment, surprise, then frustration. Even now, this, too, fail. But then, something shifted. Gazing down, she saw the moon again, now reflected in the countless small puddles scattered along the path, not confined to the bucket, not diminished by its breaking. The moon was everywhere, and in that instant, the striving within her fell away. The seeking dissolved, and she laughed a soft, free sound. Later, she wrote, asterisk, asterisk, in this way and that. I tried to save the old pail, until at last, the bottom fell out. No more water in the pail, no more moon in the water. And in that simple seeing, awakening bloomed, not as an achievement, but as the dropping of all that sought to achieve. Now, my friend, as you rest here, perhaps you too have carried buckets, ideas of who you must become, stories of what awakening should look like, subtle pressures to be better, deeper, more at peace. And this is natural. The mind longs to know, to arrive, to hold the moon. But sometimes, life offers us a broken bucket, a plan that fails, a role that falls away, a certainty that dissolves. And in such moments, as in this moment, there is an invitation to see the moon was never in the bucket. Peace was never in the next attainment. Wholeness was never elsewhere. It is here, always, in this breath, in this body, in this simple being. So tonight, you do not need to fix the bucket. You do not need to capture the moon. Simply rest. If a thought arises, let it pass. Like a ripple. If a feeling stirs, notice it. Tenderly. No need to cling. No need to push away. And if something within you says, I must attain this state, smile gently. And remember, no more moon in the water. M. Quote, you are already here. Nothing missing. Nothing lacking. Breath moving. Life flowing. Just this. And as you drift deeper, into sleep perhaps, know that even in dream, the moon shines. Not trapped, not possessed, but freely reflected in the open sky of your being. And when morning comes, if the bucket remains broken, so be it. The moon remains untouched. And so do you. Rest now, dear one. No striving, no seeking, just this breath, this being, this peace, exactly as it is. And now, softer still, breath, a whisper. Perhaps you no longer notice its coming and going, and yet it moves effortlessly, the body weightless, as though floating in an unseen sea, the mind wide open, vast as the night sky, nothing to hold, nothing to resist. And here, in this tender space, a story returns, not new but deeper now. For some stories, like the tide, return again and again, each time carrying new meaning. This is the story of Zuigan. You remember how each morning, alone in his temple, he would speak aloud, Master, yes, stay awake. Oh, yes. Oh, do not be deceived. Oh, yes. Oh, a dialogue between the witness and the parts of the mind that so easily drift. And tonight, as you drift, you may sense this too, for even here in this space between waking and sleep awareness remains. No need to cling to it. No need to stay awake in the ordinary sense, but simply to rest in the gentle knowing that beneath all arising and passing, you are here. Breath comes, breath goes, without effort. Sounds arise, fade, without clinging. Thoughts drift, dissolve, without judgment. And within this flow, a deeper presence holds all. It does not sleep. It does not wake. It simply is. This is what Zuigan whispered to himself, not to force vigilance, but to remind the heart of its own unshakable ground. Now, as you rest, if a dream comes, welcome it. If thoughts swirl, let them. No need to grasp. No need to push away. And if some gentle voice within arises, as Zuigan's did, perhaps you too may hear, stay awake. And perhaps you may answer, softly, inwardly, yes. And not with tension, not with effort, but with the ease of one who floats, trusting the current. For here, there is nothing to attain, no state to hold. Even sleep will come of its own. You do not need to fall asleep. Sleep is like the tide. When the mind releases striving, it carries you gently into its depths. And through it all, the deeper presence remains. As Zuigan knew, and you may know, you are not your thoughts. You are not your roles. You are not even the you that seeks. You are this aware space, vast, embracing all, and from this space, great compassion arises, not by effort, but by nature, as breath breathes itself, As stars shine without striving, as tides move without command, so too does compassion flow from presence. Now, rest deeper. If a part of you wonders, am I doing this right? Smile gently and let the question dissolve like mist in morning light. There is no right. There is only this moment, and this moment is already whole. As you lie here, imagine the breath like a wave, rising, falling, the body like the earth, held, supported, the heart open, spacious, boundless. And in this, nothing is missing. You are enough, more than enough. You are life itself, flowing, breathing, being. And if, as sleep draws near, a whisper arises within, stay awake. End quote. Let it be a soft smile, for true awakening is not in holding on, it is in the ease of letting be. Let sleep come as it will. Let dreams flow as they do. You remain, the vast space within which all arises. No striving, no seeking, no resistance. Just this breath, this stillness, this peace. And so, rest now, dear one, held in the embrace of being itself. The sky vast, the heart open, the breath, the tide, and you, the space in which all dances. Stay awake and let yourself drift into the deepest ease. And now, the night holds you completely. Breath, so soft, perhaps no longer noticed at all, yet it moves perfectly without your doing. The body as light as mist, as vast as the sky, and the mind wide open, no edges, no center, only presence, only this. There is nothing more to seek, nothing more to become. You have arrived in this moment, and this moment is infinite. Perhaps, beneath the surface, a faint voice stirs. Stay awake. End of 4. And here, now, there is no tension in this, no grasping, only the soft awareness of being itself. Breath in, breath out, like waves upon a silent shore. There is no need to follow thought, no need to push thought away. Everything belongs here. This breath belongs. This body belongs. This moment belongs. You are held exactly as you are. If dreams arise, let them flow. If silence deepens, rest in it. There is no wrong way to be. You are not here to accomplish anything tonight, not even peace. For peace is already here, not something to reach, but something to remember. And in this remembering, everything softens. Breath, like a lullaby. Bodhi, like earth resting beneath stars. And the heart, open, boundless, without effort. There is a great kindness in this resting, a kindness toward yourself, toward all that you have carried, toward all that you are, toward all that arises and passes. And so now, let the breath guide you. Each inhale, a gentle receiving. Each exhale, a gentle letting go. No striving, no seeking, only this tender rhythm of life living through you. And perhaps, beneath this, a deeper knowing hums. You are already whole. You are never separate. Not from the breath, not from life, not from the vastness in which all dances. And so, as you rest now, there is no gate to pass through, no threshold to cross. You are already home. In this breath, in this stillness, in this ease, let yourself drift, if drift you do. Let sleep come, if it comes. Let dreams weave their quiet tapestry. You remain the open sky, within which all arises and dissolves. No resistance, no clinging, no judgment. Just this, breath like a whisper of wind, body like a leaf upon gentle waters, mind like the vastness of space. And within this vastness, compassion flows naturally, not as effort, but as the essence of presence, as stars shine without needing to, as rivers flow without needing to, so too does your being shine simply by being. And if tomorrow comes and you wake, let this remembrance walk with you, that beneath all roles, all doing, all thinking, you are this presence, always here, always whole. And if, in the quiet moments of the day, a whisper arises again, stay awake. Let it be a smile within you, not a command, not an effort, but a gentle remembrance that you are already the sky, already the moon, already the well, already the path. And for tonight, there is nothing more. Breath rising, breath falling, held, cradled in the vast embrace of being. Rest now, dear one. Rest completely. You are safe. You are whole. You are home. Breath and peace. Breath and ease. Breath and love. Always here and now. Dear one, we have walked this gentle path together, through stories, through breath, through stillness, and perhaps, somewhere along the way, something within you has softened. Perhaps a thought was met with kindness. Perhaps a burden was set down. Perhaps nothing at all seemed to happen. And that, too, is perfectly enough. For in this space, there is no need for outcome, no need for measure. Simply being. And as you lie here, breath moving on its own, know this: you do not need to try. You do not need to become anything other than what you are in this very moment. You are already whole, already held, already at home. The stories we shared, the images that arose, they are but gentle ripples upon the vast lake of your being. Nothing to hold, nothing to chase. And if now, sleep draws you deeper, let it. There is no wrong way to rest, no wrong way to drift. You may float on the edge of sleep, or sink fully into its depths. Either way, you are safe, you are enough, you are loved. And if at any moment a thought stirs, a feeling arises, greet it gently, as you would greet an old friend. No resistance, no judgment, and then return to this breath, this gentle, flowing breath that carries you deeper and deeper still. And know, even as you sleep, the stories continue to nourish. Like seeds planted in the soft soil of your heart, they do not need to be remembered. They do not need to be grasped. They will bloom in their own time, in their own way. And so now, rest fully. Trust the wisdom of your own being. You have done enough. You have been enough. You are enough. Always. And in this knowing, may your sleep be deep. May your dreams be light. May your heart be at peace. Breath and ease. Breath and peace. Good night, dear one.